This right here is the CMMG BR3. This particular model is a 308 16-inch barrel traditional style form factor rifle, otherwise known as a ranch rifle that we've been calling them in some of our other reviews. We've talked in the past about a variety of other firearms similar form factor to this in 5.56 that use AR-15 magazines, and every single time that we talked about it, everyone said, I wish it was in 308. Well, today we're talking about the CMMG offering that comes in 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 8.6 Blackout in both 16 or 20-inch barrel lengths and a variety of colors. Let's get up close, look at some of the features, we'll talk about the performance, we'll talk about the accuracy, and we'll talk about the reliability of this gun and whether or not I think it is a good fit for you. Spoiler alert, this firearm is very, very nice. So now that we're zoomed in, we can go over some of the features of this firearm. Now Grantham goes tip to butt, we are going to go ass to mouth. Now if you look at the rear here, this uses a standard Remington 870, I believe, buttstock system. This one is pretty nice. It allows you to have a variety of different comb lengths and a variety of different length of pulls. The trigger in this gun is the CMMG zeroed trigger. It breaks really nice. If you press the push button safety, you can pull the trigger. It breaks pretty clean. It's not a $9,000 trigger, but it works very well. The safety is a push button style. So let's rack that action so we can put it on safe. Easy. It is reversible, fully reversible. The magazine release on the right hand side, you're probably not going to be able to release, but thankfully it is ambidextrous for right-handed shooters. Lefties, this gun is not going to be the most agreeable for you. The bolt catch is an extended bolt catch. It uses standard AR-10 magazines that are very popular, like the Magpul AR-10 mags. The scope that I have on it is a Gunner 1:8 first focal plane LPVO. This is not the ideal mounting system. I would ideally like to use a lower mounting system. This gun, as you can see, is in flat dark earth. You can get it in a variety of different colors. My dog's going to take a little cameo real quick. The upper receiver is a little bit taller than a traditional AR-10 or AR-15 style upper receiver. Dust cover is a polymer. This kind of looks like the Magpul one. This charging handle, it does not reciprocate with each shot, and it locks forward. Snooty, get out of the way. And it is reversible, so if you wanted to put this on the other side, there are options to do so. The gas block on this is actually adjustable, but both on the BR3 and the BR4, I have not fiddled with that whatsoever. The barrels on these are pretty nice. They're a continuous profile. They're pretty standard. It is standard thread pitch for a 308 design, and it has the CMMG zeroed muzzle brake, which, as you can see in the footage that we'll be showing periodically, does a very good job to tame the recoil. Okay, so let's talk about the performance of the CMMG BR3 that uses descent upper receivers in 308. Like I said, you can get this on their calibers, but this is the one that I went with. It's the 16-inch 308, probably going to be the more popular of the options that they have available. So when it comes to accuracy, I've done accuracy testing with this firearm a few different times in a few different configurations. When I had a much more high power scope on it, I was able to get a solid 2.1 inch groups, 10 round groups at 100 yards with decent ammunition. With the cheap Norma 147 grain ammo, I was getting a consistent 3.5 inch groups, which is pretty much on par with that ammo that I've been using in other guns. And I tried today, and I'll overlay some footage, to do additional grouping with that gun with some Hornady tap with this Gunner LPVO, the 1:8. The environmental conditions were simply not having it today. I was trying to shoot from the bed of my truck. I'm too big for the bed of my truck. As you can see, my feet flailing around really silly-like a giddy little schoolgirl. The wind was so bad that my truck was actually wobbling and the target itself was moving around. So the group that I got with that was about 4 inches, but I simply, with the sun blinding me out of my right eye, I was not able to put up good groups today, but that was the Indian and the environment and not necessarily the arrow that day. So it's pretty accurate when you're shooting in optimal conditions. When you're shooting in not optimal conditions, it does fine. I just couldn't get it done today. Reliability, I've got about 15, maybe 1,600 rounds through this gun at this point, which is a lot, and a good amount of it was shot at a good speed. I did not shoot this gun nearly as fast or as continuously as the 5.56 guns that are similar, simply because 308 is a lot more expensive and I have fewer magazines for those. So I didn't get nearly as hot, but I never had a single malfunction with this gun. I've gotten this gun plenty hot, shot it plenty hard, and it has not failed me whatsoever in the time that I've been shooting it. It performs pretty well in terms of smoothness, but that's less of an issue for reliability and just a general feel. So usability. I initially, when I started doing these ranch rifle reviews, thought that side charging was suboptimal because it's not what I'm used to. I'm used to a rear charging AR-15 platform, but side charging is the way to go on this type of gun, simply because when you have to try to fit your hand back here, this is a better position, and it's kind of just where my hand ends up anyways. So putting my hand up here on this non-reciprocating charging handle right at the base gives me a good point to lock in and pull back into, and I didn't find that it was in an uncomfortable spot for me. However, I'm pretty tall, but I do have shorter arms, so your mileage may vary. You can always swap that to the other side if you absolutely cannot deal with it being where it is. When it comes to reloads, reloads are the biggest problem with this type of platform. When you shoot a gun like this that has ambi mag release as a right-hand shooter, it does give you some options. With a 5.56 gun, you could choose to strip the mag at the same time with a magazine in your hand, but the way that I would do it with this gun, because the magazines are larger, I would recommend stripping the magazine out of the gun first, grabbing your new mag, putting it in, and closing the bolt. When you try to go dry, bring your hand down, grab a magazine, come up and try to strip it out with that larger magazine in your hand, it's going to cause you some problems, and you're likely going to have a hard time getting that magazine out reliably. So in general, with this type of gun, strip the magazine first, get a new magazine, put the new magazine in, close the bolt. That's how I would recommend you do it. With these platforms, I also notice that I can't shoot them quite as fast as I can a traditional AR. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the angle of my wrist and hand and how my finger sits. Maybe there's tension that doesn't allow my finger to move as freely as quickly, but I find that I can't shoot them quite as fast. I can shoot them plenty fast, but I can shoot a normal AR-15 quicker. The guns shoot well. I really like how it shoots. It's easy to control the recoil, especially with that muzzle brake. It's easy to be accurate with this gun when the conditions are suitable for that. Who would want this firearm? Why would you want this firearm? Well, I believe it's legal in 47 states. I think Illinois might be one of the few states that this is not legal, but it's legal in the state of California, and in this configuration, I can use my legally owned and legally possessed Freedom Week magazines, which for me is a huge benefit because I have some 20, 25 round magazines that do work in this firearm, and for me that's huge. This gives you the form factor of a traditional rifle that's legal in California. But if you're in another state, maybe you are the kind of person that likes shotguns. Maybe you're coming from a more traditional rifle platform. Maybe you have a family member that is a FUD but is tacticurious, as some people might put it. These firearms do a good job of giving people capable firearms that are completely capable and suitable for use to defend your home, your country, your freedoms, your property, whatever it is. These are good, capable guns, and they're in a form factor that might be more comfortable for some people and legal in places that they might not be legal to have a more normal AR-15 or a modern AR-15 style firearm without some compromises. So I think that these are going to be a viable option. The MSRP for these is less than the SIG MCXR and about the same as the CMMG BR3. And I think the fact that it's so close in price to the BR3, I think that these are going to sell like hotcakes. A lot of people were asking about the caliber variations of 6.5, 308, and 8.6 in either 16 or 20 inch barrels. I think gives it a very, very attractive feature set and options for people that might be interested in that. So let me know what you guys think. Would you pick one of these up? Are you interested in this at all? Out of the 308 gas guns that I've shot in the last few years, I'd say that this is definitely one of my favorites. I very much prefer this over an M1A. I think that this gun blows the M1A and the Springfield options out of the water. You can put optics on this, you can put flashlights on it, it's more modular, comes in a variety of different calibers. Overall, I think that it recoils smoother in my opinion. The M1A passes the vibe check, absolutely. But this, I think, is just a superior gun. I like this gun a lot. I'm interested in it. CMMG did send this out to me after they sent me out the CMMG BR3. They did not pay me to be nice about this gun. There's not really anything else in the future that I'm interested in reviewing from them. I know I said that in the past, but then they announced this and I was like, shit, I'm interested. So I don't feel like I have any incentive to lie to you about this. The gun performs very well, and because of that, I'm reviewing it positively. It's got a feature set that people are interested in and that people specifically asked for, and they brought it to the market. I can see why someone would want this, and I can see why this is a excellent offering to the market. But let me know what you guys think. Would you pick one of these up? You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.